everyone, this is Sean and welcome back to Having Fun Repairs, a YouTube place where we do things and stuff. Kind of like what we're about to do with this right here. This GM Delco radio came from a customer who's looking to add a Bluetooth function to this. Now this came out of a 1970s vehicle truck. I don't know the state of this radio. I don't even know if it works. So I suppose we're at least going to power it up and see if we get some life. Hopefully there's not too much of an amp draw. But if it powers up, we could probably go from there to adding in a Bluetooth capability. And this is a very old car radio. Kind of begs the question, why not restore it? But that's not what I'm getting asked to do. Just getting asked to add in Bluetooth. So in order for us to do that, we are going to have to do some things like take the chassis apart, determine where our audio is coming to. Let's see, this left knob is on and off. This right knob takes care of the tuning. You can, I don't know if you can really see that down in there, but that needle moves up and down. So this is going to be our on off in volume. This is going to be our tuning adjust. And the back we got, see, 12 volts in, speaker, center wire, ground on the left. So we'll have to go 12 volts, ground, and speaker ground to see if we got any functions. Little note here, do not operate without 8 to 10 ohm speaker attached. So we'll see how far we get along and what we can do with this radio. So without further ado, let's get to it. In order to test this out, I don't have an 8 ohm speaker, but I do have a 6 ohm. I think we're going to be okay with that. I've got my power supply over here, my DC power supply set to 12 volts. And the current limiting potentiometer about mid-range. So let's take our ground lead to our ground lead. Let's take our 12 volt positive to 12 volts in right there. Let's take our speaker. We'll go red wire to our speaker plus, which is this one right here. Okay. And then we'll take our speaker minus and we'll attach that to this ground lead right there. All right, there's no DC pulsing through this. Speaker did not flex, so I think we're going to be okay. Let's turn this radio on and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to turn off my microphone. I'm going to turn off my microphone filters, and you can hear that static along with me. Noise suppression off. Now we're drawing almost 1.2 amps. Speaker is squealing. It's safe to say that we have life, but as far as how the circuits are operating in here, I'm not too sure the radio works. That being said, That being said, I also do not have an antenna hooked up to this thing. So let me get this powered off. Let's take this apart and take a closer look at what's on the inside. As you can tell, it's the top cover has been taken off, and I have I powered it up. Turning that back on for a second. We have some line capacitors here. It looks like this is the output transformer for our audio circuit. As a matter of fact, I see RF, IF, AF going marked on the board, heading in that direction. So that is most likely our output transformer. It is also probably likely that these filter caps are what's calling that squealing. So most likely those do need to be replaced. I went ahead and attached some cables to the antenna to make a little makeshift whip to see if we can get any reception. So let's turn it on, and I'll need to turn off my filters, otherwise it's going to get rid of everything. Noise suppression off. There we go. Now you'll be able to pick up all the background noise and nothing will be eliminated out. Forgive me if there's any squealing, but let's turn this back on. So we do have AM static. But it is very weak. Most likely our IF is 145 kilohertz. Let's inject that signal via my SIGGEN. And it is, but it's weak. So that tells me we also have an alignment issue. Okay, well this definitely gives me some things to think about. Maybe I'll reach back to the seller and say, hey, radio reception is also pretty poor. Filter caps need to be replaced and it needs to be aligned, but the AM radio will work even better than what is currently going with all that. I'll have to figure out the alignment. Maybe I can find some service literature about it. But at least now that we know that it is functioning, although we do have some issues with our volume control going into oscillation, I can definitely find a way to get a Bluetooth device input put into this to receive a, whatever from a cell phone, so cell phone audio can play out of the speaker. Okay, for those of you who are used to watching my restoration videos, a lot of this is going to seem pretty academic. You always know your main supply voltage is filtered. We got those filters there. We have an output transformer, as previously mentioned, controlled via our volume control, and on-off knob here. No different than in a vintage radio. Over here is our antenna and quasi oscillator circuit. It is going to have an effect on it, but consider this our 2 or 3 gain tuner, as well as antenna combo coming off a tap at the bottom. Obviously this right knob operating that one. Be very careful if you go to remove or desolder these tabs here from the top of the board, because there is a small wire that runs to these tuned coils in here that you do not want to break. Okay, now upon further inspection of the board, we can turn it over. You see these two holes here, this one right here and this one right here. Those correspond to our IF cans that you can see here and here. So here's how we can tune or at least peek up on our IF. And then again, trimmer pots that are going to be associated with our antenna and oscillator circuit. Okay, so these adjustments, these two can actually be controlled by this tab right here and this one right here. If I was to move these, you would see the center of this variable capacitor, this screw terminal here, for lack of better words. You would see it move left and right as I move this left and right. Okay, so pretty easy as far as the tuning circuit, but you might question, well, how do we get to the top of these cans once everything's in and everything's soldered back on? Well, to answer that, if I look down into this chassis, there are some incredibly small openings that go through the bottom. And then that's where we access, obviously from the other side in, that's where we gain access to those IF cans to align them. So at least they thought of that. This can be aligned. You know, he's just looking for Bluetooth alignment, and that should be pretty easy because we do have center tap on our volume control here. I'll need to measure between these 2 points to get the of our volume control, the actual total amount of resistance across that potentiometer. We should be able to cut here, inject audio source after it's picked up by a Bluetooth signal, and then that should be fed through our audio transformer, hopefully amplified and out the back to our speaker, or at least that's the hope. We'll see how it works. But for right now, I need to select the required components to add in Bluetooth. We'll obviously need an AM to Bluetooth switch as well, so we can kill the AM signal. Actually, how can I determine that? Well, I should be able to trace out the center of the pot to one of the IF cans to see where our audio signal is essentially getting picked up at and brought into the volume control knob. But I think the first thing I'm going to do before I start digging into all that is I'm going to get this board cleaned up off camera. It is incredibly dirty and incredibly nasty, quite a bit of corrosion, and then I can go from there. Oh man, that rain came out of nowhere. Right on my freshly cut yard. Anyways, fajitas.
Well, may not look it, but I've actually done quite a bit of cleaning. And we've gotten the parts in that we need to get in, and the customer was okay with restoring a little bit of this radio. So we're going to replace 3 of our electrolytics here. We're going to align this radio, and hopefully our germanium transistor in the back is good. If not, I got a replacement for it. We're going to align this radio, and then we'll put in our Bluetooth auxiliary input with a kill switch for the AM radio as well. So let's get to it. done everything correctly. Now it's just going to be powering it up and seeing if we get better reception. Again, hopefully that power transistor on the back that's going to designed to amplify our output audio is good. But you know, power up test is going to be first sign of if things go wrong. So I've got my benchtop power supply, taking it up to 12 volts. Okay, got that set to 12. Let's turn on the radio. We're drawing 1 amp. And I'll turn off my filter here so you can hear what I'm hearing. Yeah, no more squilling. Yeah, we'll definitely need to do an alignment. We've got nothing as far as reception. Of course, all I got is this little lead here to act like an antenna, but that's no big deal. While I was cleaning, and I actually lubricated our tuning mechanisms and stuff as well, because on the dial on the front, the needle was sticking, but that's all actuating fine. So let me turn on my SIGGEN. And forgive me if all this gets a bit loud. Gets a tad bit loud. Actually turn back on my filter. Hey, so I'm setting my IF to 455 kilohertz. Setting the amplitude to, let's do 1 volt peak to peak. I'm going to turn on mod. Set my mod frequency to 1 kilohertz. We'll set our depth to 90%. Alright, channel 1 is turned to on. I'll set my tuner all the way to the lowest possible setting. Alright, so that's kind of screaming into it. Let's turn that down a tad bit. Amplitude. We'll do 100 millivolts. That's a very strong signal. Let me get out my alignment tool, and I'm going to move this camera up here, over to here, so y'all can see this alignment as I do it. Give me a second. Okay, the alignment is twofold. You have basically the tunable capacitor access through the bottom right here. On the first IF can, and then your second IF can, it being accessed through right here. And then you also have these holes on the top to get to the other side of your IF can. Basically, you're in and out for each can. Now you can see how that quiets down. And so basically, I'm going to go bottom top or top bottom, bottom top or top bottom, and I'm going to adjust for the loudest I can get. And actually, I think I'm going to drop down my amplitude just a bit. To do this alignment. Now the bottom side is a little bit harder to get to because you gotta get right up on there with your eyes, but now I need to bump it down a bit more. That 1 kHz tone is super quiet now. Bump it up just a tad bit. somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. Alright, let me kill the signal, see if we get a radio station anywhere. Unfortunately, no radio station yet. Now, we still have these two trimmer caps here, and then there's one in behind our tuning control right in here. Let's see if I can bring this around. You see that opening right here? There's another trimmer cap here. I haven't been able to find service literature for this specific radio, but I did find some for other Delco type radios, and so I want to use those that service literature because I think it's a generally the same setup to make those last few alignments, and then we could test the radio again. Let me find that and pull it up for you. So here is the literature I was able to find. This for an old passenger vehicle, Chevrolet radio alignments. And all these are tube radios, but the alignments are fairly similar. So you can see the radio picture here, how similar these Delco radios for the Chevy is. It covers actually how to set the push buttons to pre-select radio stations, and we'll cover that in a minute. We'll cover that towards the end, I guess. But the closest radio I found was this one right here. And we've got two trimmer caps here, FE and then G on the back. Although ours is located towards the front, it's got two more trimmer caps back here. But essentially, you have A and C here. I might try to look that up too. But let's see. Aligning the radio. We follow this, and essentially Okay, so we got our IF alignment. Trimmers E, F, and G are for 1615 kilocycles. How to align that. And it's saying J and K, which was on the back, for 600 kilocycles. So essentially, this is going to set up the front end, I guess, yeah, alignment of the dial per se for each radio station. So what we will do is we'll do 1615 kilocycles and 600 kilocycles and mess with those trimmers to see which ones are which. And this will just kind of be trial and error till we get this figured out. All right, let's set up our SIGGEN. We're going to do 1615. 1615 kilohertz. Modulation will still be 1 kHz at 90%. Let's turn channel 1 on. All right. Let's get back over to the radio here. Got everything hooked up. Nope, I gotta hook back up my leads for my SIGGEN. Let's turn on the radio. Yeah, we're way off of that. So I'm going to put that all the way over onto the end. And let's see what actually brings that in. Kind of step this. I'm on 16 where I'm getting the signal. I need to turn off of it. And let's start with this one. That definitely brings that closer. Way too loud. I need to step down my amplitude a bit. seem to be doing much. What about this antenna? Actually, that's marked antenna adjust, so this might be for 600. That could be for the antenna. Let's see, do I got a little small Phillips somewhere I can use? Let's try this guy right here. I think that's going to be that. Let's go to $600. Let's bring this down to the bottom end. That's 550. Put it between a 5 and a 6. It's closer, or excuse me, 5 and a 7. That's closer to 7. So let's see if we can step that down with this guy right here. Not really doing anything. Let's try this one. Again, not really much of anything. I feel like we got a little bit of a peak right there at the end. I'm not seeing any other alignment, so I think that's going to be it. Let me just go back and change this to 1600 again. Or excuse me, 1615. I think that's going to have to be good enough. Let's kill the SIGGEN. Turn it off. Alright, it is now off. Let me see if I can find a better antenna somewhere. Well, I'm glad I went back and read some more. RIF for this radio is not 455 kilohertz. It's actually 262. So ignore this. 262. So we actually need to align it to an IF of 262, and that would probably explain some of the erroneous readings we're getting, or other alignments. Step this down some. There we go. Let's do this again. actually step this down just a little bit more. Alright, so somewhere in there, that's an incredibly weak signal coming from my SIGGEN, but I feel like that's a slightly better alignment. Let's go back and do our 1600 again, or 1615. Oh, I just realized my SIGGEN is not keeping up. Or maybe it is. There we go. Do we get anything on this now? No, not really. Nothing really here either. Let's try 600. No real change on there either. And it's absolutely possible that those trimmer caps are bad. or I'm just doing this alignment incorrectly. But I mean, that does feel very worn out. The shaft is loose on it. Anyways, we're no better or no worse, but I can kill the SIG-Gen now. We'll see if we'll pick up anything at this go around. Let's go here. Yeah. Disconnect this. See if we get any radio stations whatsoever. No, not really. Well, let me turn my filters back on. Okay, there we go. So we can at least say that we've got the radio more functional. It might just need a better antenna. I might need to get it out of this office to get reception. But it sounded like an AM radio. We were able to align 1615 on the dial. I'm not getting anything out of this trimmer cap here, or really the antenna trimmer here either. But again, like I said, it might need to be physically inside the vehicle and on a long whip antenna, and I've got a lot of interference with switch mode power supplies and stuff like that in this office. But I can at least demonstrate for you. Of course, if anybody's used to aligning these radios, let me know. I gladly would like to know if I'm doing things correctly on this. Again, I couldn't find exact service literature for this guy, but I think I'm fairly close. I do want to demonstrate how to do the dial, so we're going to hook back up my SIG-Gen. I'm going to put in a frequency of 1100 kilocycles or kilohertz. I'm going to go back to mod, turn my SIG-Gen on. So, and we're pretty close to 11,000 kilocycles here. Now here's how you set it. I'm just going to do this this first center button. Okay, you pull it out like this. All right, and that resets the spring, and then you push it in, and that should set it. So now when I go off position, if I was to push the button, it springs it back to that previous position. course, this guy being not super functional, it might loosen up with time. You can see how that works. And you do each one individually like that. You get to the radio station, you pull it out, that sets it, push it in, then you can tune off dial, push the button again, it should take you back to that radio station. Anyways, I feel like we're trying to get a bit of reception in there. So, yeah, I might just need a better antenna. Okay, with that being said, I can now move on to hooking up a Bluetooth module. Now, let me kill my power supply, turn some lights back on. Again, let me know in the description if you've worked on these radios. I believe it's strong potential that this trimmer is bad. But we're not getting squealing out through the speaker anymore with the new caps in, and that needed to be resolved anyways if we're going to use this volume pot for controlling the volume of our Bluetooth device and amplifying it out to a speaker, because you don't want all that popping and squealing like we had before. Okay, so in order to move on with this, I need to figure out, this goes to the volume pot. I need to figure out which cable or line I need to cut here. And so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is essentially tone this out. Okay, so we got green, here goes our IF can, so alright, so green goes to the IF can in multiple spots. What about red? So does red. What about blue? Nothing on blue. Okay. Well, this is probably going to be a bit of a I don't know what to say. This is really going to have to be playing around until I figure out the right thing. So, let me go to this and this. I've got power supply turned off. We can see that there is volume between these 2 points as an adjustment. What about here? Nothing between these 2 points. Okay, so our wiper control is definitely here, and I think we're going to need to go between these 2 points here. Not entirely positive, but I'm going to test it out between these 2 points and we'll figure that out. I'll do a bit of testing off camera, then I'll come back and let you know what I discover. Well, I've got things slightly figured out. Bluetooth device wired up to the power in the back, same 12-volt source. I've coupled our what were originally the RCA connectors to two 33 ohm half watt resistors going to one side of this step up transformer, the ground going to the other side. And I did have a 12.5 kilo ohm resistor tied to the output of this side over here, leading to this 0.02 microfarad cap. That was a bit too much. It still needs a resistor in there, but it was a bit too much attenuation, so I'm gonna have to find a lower value resistor. Anyways, the output of the signal goes through that 0.02 microfarad multi-layer ceramic cap out, and let's see, that goes to this blue wire right here. Here we go. That's the one I had to cut right here, so otherwise we would get our radio signal, if you can hear that. All right, the other side of the isolation slash step up transformer is going to this black wire right here. But of course, it is working. Give me a second. It comes up as, let's see, I can't get it on camera. I realize that's probably backwards. It's absolutely backwards and not focusing. But JIERUIBT5908, that's what it's coming up as. And we could do a bit of royalty free music. And the volume definitely works here. Alright, so I need to find a way to pretty all this up and make it better and get it all installed, and we'll be good. Okay, and here we have it with all its glory. I actually ended up mounting the Bluetooth back here, and we still have clearance to get the top of the case on. The step up transformer sitting over here through a 5k ohm resistor is what I eventually went with, followed by that 0.02 microfarad capacitor leading into the blue wire that was here. Of course, I ran two new leads, that way we can kill the radio. Just like that. And then of course Bluetooth is now powered through their set, so when it's off it's not draining the battery. Actually, you can hear it power up just like that. So what I ended up doing, and I don't have a proper antenna, so we're not going to get a radio station on this, especially not in this office with all these switch mode power supplies, is I left it to where the audio from the Bluetooth device can still come over in event the individuals listen to the radio. So that way if they were doing GPS or something, say on a mobile device running Google Maps, then directions should still be able to come through even while the AM radio is playing. Okay, so to kind of demonstrate that, let's do some royalty free music. Alright, and then if I was to kill the radio, So there you go. Perfect demonstration, I think. Just a little quick insert. So I've got my computer modulating my carrier of 11,000 hertz. 11,000 hertz. So we can see when we go off frequency, back on, we pick up my fake AM band. But let me do Bluetooth over the radio as well. You can see that it will pick up both of those things. So turn off the radio. Now just Bluetooth. But this is gonna do it for this repair. It would have been nice to actually have heard the radio operate, but again, I need a proper antenna for this thing. We were able to rectify the squealing we got from the speaker by adding in new electrolytic caps, which is good. We're not going to restore anything over this area. We need a new trimmer pot, trimmer cap, I believe, for the antenna. And I'm not going through all the other electronics. It is what it is. But the customer did agree to this. Bluetooth is well hidden. They can hook an antenna up to it. Hopefully they can get a few channels. I'm not too sure how that's going to end up. But they will definitely have a kill switch right off to the side that they should be able to mount somewhere. And yeah. Should work for everything that they're needing. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Having Fun Repairs. If you enjoyed what we did here, please let me know by becoming a subscriber, liking this video, leaving comments in the comments section. I thoroughly enjoyed modifying this radio and learning a little bit about the alignments. Again, first time aligning, not 455, that's not our IF, it's 262 kilohertz. But we did that alignment. We were able to get 1615 on the dial as well. And, for the most part, this radio is operational. So I'm going to package it up, given that we have the auxiliary Bluetooth now provided in here, and that is functioning, and ship it back to the customer. That being said, if you are looking for something modified or repaired, go to my main YouTube page, look at the About section. In there is a link to my Google site, which you can go to, fill out a form that allows you to submit to me a request for repair. I'll send you a reply back. I've gotten a few recently, requests for replies, but I haven't heard back from those potential customers. I'm not too concerned. If I don't get customers, then I just buy things and, work through repairing it. Or either that or my kids break things, but I'm rambling at this point. Thank you all for watching. Take care and goodbye. Bark.